Howdy folks, welcome back. Another Friday live workout today. We are going to use our sticks from Stick Mobility to do today's session. So I wouldn't say quite a workout, but you know, a stretching mobility session featuring stick mobility. So I'm going to grab my sticks. Now, I'm sure that anybody who's joining today, hopefully you got the message that we're doing it with sticks today, but if you don't have sticks, you could do some of these movements with a broomstick or a piece of PVC. I recommend getting the sticks probably right behind mini bands. These sticks from Stick Mobility is probably I would say, if I had to rank it, the number one, the most recommended piece of equipment I recommend to clients. Because they're just great stretching aids. Everyone can use them. The kind of encyclopedia of movements you can do is seemingly endless. And I think they really can help everyone. You know, they're beneficial to all fitness levels, age groups, everyone. So I highly recommend this, guys. So if you are interested after watching this in getting some sticks for yourself, if you don't have any, when I upload this to the YouTube page, the Tampa Strength YouTube channel, I'll put a link and a code actually for you guys to use. If you're interested, it gets you 10% off. So, and it's nothing to sneeze about because these pairs that you see here, these are actually a little bit older version. They got some newer, updated ones now. That this is actually 2 6-footers and a 4-foot. So 2 longs and a short. That's kind of the recommended bundle that I recommend people get if they're going to buy sticks, because as you'll see when we go through our movements today, these actually this is 2 6s and a 5. I'm sorry. But now the bundle that's 2 longs and a short is about, they standardize it. It's about a little more than a 6-foot, 2 long 6-foots, a little bit more, and then a little longer 4-foot one for the short stick. So they kind of standardize it. They used to do 4, 5, 6, and 7-footers, but now they standardize it to kind of the long stick is between 6 and 7 feet, the short stick's between 4 and 5 feet. So, which I think is actually a good idea. And as you'll see, we're going to do a couple different moves today with all these sticks. All right, let's go. Let's get started. All right, so no real warm-up today. Or actually, the warm-up in the mobility session is going to go right here with the sticks. All right. So first, what we're going to do, we're going to grab our shorter stick. I'm going to grab it all the way at the ends and do what we call kayaks. All right. So I'm just rolling my shoulders forward, almost like I'm doing paddling a kayak. I.e., that's why the name, you know, where the name comes from, I should say. Or like I'm doing freestyle in the pool. All right. I'm going to show you from the side also. Trying to keep my head still, hips still. So I'm just rolling them forward. Okay, a couple more each arm. Really great for the shoulder capsule. And now I'm going to roll them backwards. I don't know why, but the backwards kayak for some individuals is just challenging. I don't know if it's the motor learning, you know, the neuromuscular control that goes along with it. But it takes a little skill to get used to, all right? Now, so like I said, you're paddling a kayak backwards, or you are backstroking in the pool, okay? I like to tell people, think about your reaching, trying to reach behind you, grab something off the shelf without turning your upper body. Or if you're a parent, you're trying to reach behind your kids, or reach behind in the back seat, get your kids to knock it off, all right? It's so funny about that movement. I think I heard it once again, people talking about it. Somebody tearing their rotator cuff, simply doing that move, you know? And I heard it is actually when I was doing the certification for these sticks years ago, the instructor told us, he was like, that was one of the, you know, they heard I had a client that did that for their rotator cuff, just reaching back, trying to tell their kids to knock it off, right? So this one is pendulum, transverse pendulum, okay? Kind of similar to the kayak, or we're just pushing it side to side, really feeling your scapula on this one. Chest also, with scapula. And then we have the frontal pendulum, where I'm just going up and down. I think this series, I love doing this series for clients. You know, we work with a lot of golfers, so shoulder tightness, shoulder pain, and that rotator cuff. Not just golfers, a lot of people. This is one, I mean, I say if you have a rotator issue, this may not be the, you know, if you're maybe post-rehab and after you've been strengthening it, this might be a doable movement, but probably beforehand it might be challenging, All right, so be careful with that too. But in other words, for any individuals who really just has tight shoulders, maybe tight scapula, even neck, I love that Kayak Pendulum series. All right, so now we're going to go, speaking of tight neck, one of kind of our go-to ones for shoulder external rotation is this, the nunchuck. All right, so as you can see, I dropped it behind my shoulder, okay, and I'm going to reach into my armpit and grab it. So you can see here, I'm going into external rotation for my shoulder. All right, so I'm holding this position. What I'm going to do, guys, sorry for the change the camera angle. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Okay, I think we get a little better view. There, you guys don't have to look up my nostrils or anything. All right, so here we go. All right, so I got that here. Once again, you can kind of see it from the side. I got my elbow out to the side. Sometimes that's challenging for individuals, right? So you can also have your elbow in front, right? Kind of see it that angle, right? So either position, if you want to increase the external rotation, you pull this bottom hand forward. So I tell people, or I should tell you guys, if you're trying to do that, you're going to do increase your external rotation, you don't do this. All right? Some people think about, oh, when they pull the hand forward, they're going to make it the increase external rotation, and they start leaning. You're extending your lower back. You're extending your lower back. You're not doing external rotation. All right? So I'm holding this position. What I like to do with this, you can strictly do this just for shoulder, but sometimes to stretch the neck, here, I turn and touch my chin to my collarbone, opposite collarbone. And I'll hold that, all right, to bring for a certain period. I'm just going to kind of rep it out. I'm going to relax. That can be a lot of tension on the shoulder. So, and then I'm going to get that elbow back out, turn, touch your chin to the collarbone. I do jiu-jitsu on a regular basis, so this movement I do pretty much every morning I wake up, just because the shoulders and the neck are always tight and sore, right? And there's a lot of positions or attacks that go after the arm that essentially make the arm look like this. So try and at least strengthen and stretch in. Obviously, you never want to get in that position, but if you can be more mobile, there's a chance you can it gives you a little bit more time possibly to escape, okay? All right, switching sides. Took my chin and my collarbone over here. So this is kind of an option, just touching this chin to the collarbone. If you're focusing on just a shoulder rotation stretch, you can just hold it there, right? You don't have to turn the head. I like the little neck stretch option also, or add-on, I guess. All right, back to it. Yeah, I think we've been using these sticks here at Tampa Strength, obviously, since we've opened back in 2017. I know Sean has been certified in it longer than I have, but I remember I got the certification in 2018, I believe. And we've also hosted a certification seminar here inside Tampa Strength. So we are huge proponents of this. Essentially every client uses it, so we love these sticks. All right, so now I'm going to go to 2 long sticks. Probably one of my go-to recommendations, especially for new clients or anybody. It's a great stretch for the upper back, the X stretch, right? So our sticks are inside our feet. I'm going to drop my weight and hang from the sticks, right? So what we're already doing here, we're getting that elongation of all those muscles in the upper back, maybe really honestly in the arms too. And then I'm just going to slowly turn the sticks right and left. Now I'm minimizing my hip movement. You can, in theory, do like this, right? But I feel you get way more of a stretch and elongation of the muscles in the back if you hold your hip position. Essentially, don't allow your hips to turn. Just focus on your upper body rotating side to side as you're hanging. I'm going to do one more to the left, and I'm going to show you guys from the side angle. Okay, so here's the side version, or the side view. And you can see my knees are away from the sticks. And I'm rotating it side to side. Okay? I love this move. Right? Feels like almost, there's a lot of, and I think, and rightly so, a lot of promotion of hanging, dead hangs from a pull-up bar. How great it is for shoulder health, how great it is for grip strength and overall strength. And I feel this just hanging right here promotes a lot of that too. Probably not as much as, hanging from a pull-up bar, but you still get that elongation of those back muscles. And I already feel like loosey-goosey with my back. All right, now I'm going to do a little bottom or lower posterior chain stretch, right? Single leg hinge. All right, so we're here, knee up to belly, my hands, and this is one thing I can kind of promote now. A lot of the movements you will can see if you follow us here on Tampa Strength or on the Stick Mobility site, is they kind of orientate the sticks using a clock system. So if you think about, this is 12 o'clock, and then we move around the clock, right? So right now I'm going to do single leg hinge. I've got 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I'm going to bring my knee belly, shoot my hands forward, single leg hinge. We're already up. All right, the leg that's on the ground is slightly bent, not locked up. I go back to balance, and I go once again. Great little posterior chain, flexibility, and actually strength. You're using kind of body weight to drive this back heel to the ceiling, so I'm activating my right glute. And you're working balance too. Yes, I'm holding on to the sticks, but honestly, I've got a light grip on the stick, so I'm trying to work a little bit of balance also. I'm going to do 2 more on this side. And there's different variations of the single leg hinge that they have within Stick Mobility. They have one called the helicopter, where you rotate the sticks while you're in this position. One called the airplane, when you rotate your pelvis while you're in this position. Very that's one of the beauties of, I believe, the Stick Mobility programming, is that it's progressive, right? All right, switch some legs. You guys can kind of say, I'll move a little bit more this way for this leg. Right? Really trying to stretch out like I'm flying through the air. Okay? Back to balance. Really trying to feel the floor with this foot that's on the ground. Right? I'm just trying to grip it with my toes. Right? One more. All right, so now a little hip mobility drill. Captain Morgan. And you guys will see why we call it a Captain Morgan right here. All right, once again, going back to my clock system. Okay, 12 o'clock with my left hand, 3 o'clock with my right hand. And the bottoms of the sticks are angled towards me. You guys can kind of see that, right? And the reason is I'm going to bring my right knee up. My toe, instep really, is touching the front stick, the 12 o'clock stick. I want to abduct, outside of the foot touches 3 o'clock stick. Alright? So I'm just opening and closing. Abduction, adduction of that leg. Alright? Trying to keep my knee over the toe too. Alright? I don't let it fall in here. Boom. If I could draw a straight line. Honestly, if this was closer, I could probably touch. You can have it a little closer, you short arm it. I like the long arm. Helps with balance also. Working balance once again here. Okay? Captain Morgan. Can you see why it's called the Captain? A couple more taps for each stick. That's fine. Alright. Switch the legs. Okay? I like to keep my head forward, or I want, if you're doing this movement, keep your eyes forward, because this is really working your balance, but you're focused on just the abduction and adduction of that hip. If I turn my chest, I'm not just focusing on my hip. I'm working my other hip, actually, right? Once again, trying to make sure my knee tracks over the toe. One more on each side. Good. All right, so now we're going to drop it. We're going to go to one stick. All right, so I got my long stick. I'm going to go across my lower back. And we're going to do what we call slap shot. All right, so I got his feet a little wider than hips. I'm going to hinge forward, rotate only my upper back. Once again, keeping my hips still. And rotate the stick to in between my feet. Okay? So you're shooting for anywhere in between the feet. You guys, you can probably see it on the video actually. You can see one side, I'm kind of getting close to matching, but honestly this, I have more range of motion on my right to my left side. And it's actually the right side that's inhibiting this motion. I'm pretty close. Right? I can feel when I do this movement, my right shoulder is what's inhibiting how far I can go with this stick. And I mean range of motion in between, right? So the further I go to my opposite foot, more, in theory, the more range of motion I have for that thoracic rotation. So that's what's working. Your upper back, thoracic rotation. One more each side. Alright, so now I'm going to do another variation of the slap shot. I'm going to add in some hip mobility. So I'm going to add in a lateral lunge. So, same movement with the slap shot. I'm going to hinge forward, touch the ground, actually a little wider stance, toe down angle, and lunge to the side. Okay? Lateral lunge. One more each side. Alright, so now we're going to do, once again, we did the single leg hinge to kind of get a little stretch of your posterior chain, a little hammy stretch, glute stretch, hip mobility, glute strength. This is just a little single leg hinge with a hammy stretch. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this stick on my shoulder. You could do this without the stick, but this actually gives you a lot of balance. So anybody who has trouble with balance, maybe older clients, this is a great thing to use when they do this movement, right? So I'm going to have my back knee bent, my lead knee locked out, toe to the sky, and I'm going to hip hinge. Butt goes back. As I go down, I feel the stretch increase back here behind this leg, right? And I'm really trying to keep my spine neutral. I don't want to do this, right? I can go for days and I barely even feel it behind my leg. But if I keep a neutral spine, I feel it way earlier. Obviously, I feel the stretch much more quicker. Much more quicker, much quicker. Hold for about a 10 count. Stand up tall, switch. Alright, go to the other side. Alright, back and forth. Alright, you said you can hold this. You want to hold for 30 seconds, you can. We're actually going to mobilize it. We're going to do some what they call flossing. We're going to do some external, internal rotation of the hip. Do one more on this side. Just hold the straight hold, static hold. Alright, so now I'm going to go back to the side, get into that stretch, find my end range, and now I'm going to turn the leg. Rotate it like a cylinder. Just change the angle so maybe you can see a little better. I'm rotating right from this hip. Internal and external. Side to side. Stand up tall, switch the legs, do it on the other side. Ooh, yeah. All right. Woo. Loosey goosey. All right. So now what we're going to go with little small joints. We're going to go top and bottom. I'm going to do wrists and I'm going to do ankles. So since I got my long stick, I'm going to show you the ankle one. These are some heel raises, right? Or we're doing this from a horse stance. This is not a hugely common one I do with some maybe some little more advanced clients. But we're going to hold the stick probably about sternum height. And what we're going to do, I'll show you straight on. We're going to do external, internal, my feet out to a horse stance. Like I'm essentially the position I would look like, my legs would look like if I was riding a horse, right? Probably one more. Right? And now, slight bend, right? So say I'm riding my horse, right? I'm trying not to lean forward too much. I'm trying to stay straight up and down, and now I'm going to do heel raises. Right? Working ankle mobility, calf flexibility. Alright? I'm just using the stick for a little bit of balance. In theory, I could probably do this without the stick, but it's good help, you know? Getting up on that ball of foot. Now I'm going to try to get some doubles. Come back in a little bit, alright? This is where the stick really helps, alright? Just a little bit of extra balance support, alright? Like I said, this is an advanced move. I would say probably just start with one heel at a time. Double heel is advanced, alright? But I think it's a reasonable expectation that maybe a client can do one heel at a time if they don't have any pre-existing really issues with their ankles or their calves. Achilles also. Alright, so now we're at the wrist. I'll get the short stick. If I can find it. Alright, short stick right here. So now wrist mobility, and this is something that I have a lot of issues with, so I love these wrist mobility movements. Alright, first one is called casting. I'm grabbing right in the middle of the stick. I'm giving him somewhat of a good, strong grip. Not essentially a death grip, but strong grip. I'm keeping all 5 fingers on the stick. And I'm just hinging my wrist. Alright? Some people like to do with this movement, especially this, because it's not a huge range of motion when you're trying to pull your thumb to the back of your forearm. People let go like that to try to make sure, oh, look how far I'm moving the stick. Don't worry about that. Focus on the movement. Focus on the grip. Grip's going to help a lot, especially if you have any wrist or elbow issues. Okay? Grip is a big part of it, working your grip strength. All right, now we go to propellers. You see I'm holding my elbow right here. My elbow is not turning. This is all wrist mobility. Okay? Pronation, supination of the forearm and of the, rotation of the wrist. Alright? Now we're going to go to hammerheads. Very similar to casting, essentially, but now I'm parallel. My palm is parallel to the floor. Okay? It's a good strength workout for your forearms too. So I'm gripping it. Alright? So it's a lot of isometric. Even though I am moving, there's some concentric eccentric here, but I'm really squeezing it. Alright, last one is rotary. Stir the pot. Trying to stir that big cauldron that's below my stick. Clockwise, ooh yeah, and counterclockwise. Getting fatigued. Almost there. Oh, it's like great circles. Oh, yeah. Whew. That's a shoulder workout too. So your arms out there, you're just holding a weight. That's some great isometric for your shoulder, bicep, tricep, your whole arm. Okay? Alright. Casting first. Yeah. I got a little better wrist mobility over here, looks like. Especially in this range of motion, I should say. The hinging. Alright, propellers. Maybe not on that right there. That's pretty good. That one's kind of rough. Pronation, supination's not fantastic on this arm. Alright, we go hammerheads. Really keeping this elbow as straight as I can, not letting the movement flex, extend my elbow. Alright? Just working the wrist. Alright. Stir the pot. Remember, tight grip on this one. This is also another one people like to take their fingers off. Oh yeah, it's not great that way. Come on. 2, 1. Woo! Alright. Did a little sample of some of the stick mobility movements, guys. Once again, I'm going to put this on our YouTube page, the Tampa Strength YouTube channel. I'm going to upload it today, and in the description, I'll put the link and a referral code for you guys, and that code gets you 10% off. Okay? So if you guys are interested, check it out. Obviously, you didn't watch this today. You can always check it out. All the live workouts are on the YouTube channel. So hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week.